Hey, this video is about communication with suppliers and especially Chinese suppliers because I saw a message today on Facebook and the guy said, what was it? Here. Chinese suppliers are often not the most friendly people that I've ever experienced. I've been busy with this supplier, and then there's all this like complaining that the Chinese supplier is not replying, and people below it were reacting like, oh, they just want money and they don't want anything else. And yeah, I think that is a shame, that perspective, to have that perspective, because I really enjoy building the relationship with my suppliers, and I have a number of amazing suppliers now that I even consider almost friends. They're not like totally friends, but you communicate together like you're friends, and we send hearts and we send compliments and all that kind of stuff. And those suppliers, because we have such a good relationship, every order we make, it's improving. So when in the beginning I got like something horrible actually. I got this like box that fell apart and was taped together and was so heavy that I couldn't carry it. I ordered 72 and 17 were broken, with that first order from that supplier. And we kept communicating, we kept finding solutions, finding problems for everything. And now I'm having this, today I got this video of these 3 pallets of the same product, like beautifully wrapped with like things around the corners to protect the corners. And like they're like enthusiastic and I'm enthusiastic, and we're all like really happy that we improve the process so much together. So I'm just saying, like, even if the relationship in the beginning is maybe still a little bit rocky, or it's not totally what you want. Like, I always used to kind of, the suppliers, like, oh, they're all doing everything wrong. And I was kind of missing, developing the relationship, developing everything, developing trust, and doing that step by step. So you would eventually, they accept some mistakes of you, you accept some mistakes of them, and then eventually next order we're gonna do better. Yeah, next order we do this, and then next order you adjust it, and then they also give tips and feedbacks, like, oh, maybe you made a mistake here, and like, oh, with so many order of so many we can print boxes, or they will start anticipating on your needs, like, because they enjoy working with you, and they that is what is possible. That is what is possible, that when I wake up in the morning, I wake up and I see all my messages of the suppliers that are already like, oh, we did this, and I got up at 6 o'clock this morning to check if your shipment is okay. Like, that is wonderful, and it's a joy to start my day like that. So that's so much better than like relationships that are not going well. And I just see this dealing with suppliers, or like, building long lasting relationships with suppliers, because that's basically what it is. The goal is that both of you are, like, in so little possible time, making as much possible money with as much possible joy, and you're not the only one that wants it. They actually want it like that as well. Like, the less hassle they get from you, the happier they are, and the more pleasure, the more you order, the happier they are. So you have a common goal, and you need to go, like, play around that, because when you talk about that, you're like, yeah, they understand. It's like, oh, well, this would be easier, da, da, da. And yeah, so go for the trust, and trust that things will be, that they also want the best for you, like. And I didn't have that attitude going in. I thought more like, oh, they want to rip me off, or they want to do as little as possible, and maybe that's true. Some suppliers are like that, but not all of them. And they put more value often above building a relationship than, because they want to have orders all the time, than ripping you off. Having said that, those suppliers are there as well. And I do think, not all suppliers are amazing, not all suppliers are good or fun or enjoyable to work with, but those are the suppliers you want to be working with, because then it's a joy, you know. Okay, sometimes if you cannot get a product from another supplier, you have to have a lot of patience with the supplier, you know. You have to have a lot. I had one product that I was looking for a year, and oh my god, and like I found 3 suppliers that could possibly supply, but they were just like impossible to deal with, or they wanted like a minimum order quantity of 500, and like the product price like extremely high, and you know, like already doing difficult about getting a test order to me, and then needing to know the size of my business before they even want to send me a test order, that was already going for a year, like almost a year, like three quarters of a year. And then I find this one supplier who doesn't react fast, whose English is really bad, who cannot focus. You know, if you ask a question, then he's like answering something else, or answering, not answering, or like this and that. But you do notice he doesn't want to be a bad person or something like that. He's not wanting to be rude. It's just that he really like doesn't have a clue or something what your desire is, you know. So he like has no idea how to hit your desire, because he has no clue where your desire is, or why you are even asking for what you're asking for. Is like it's like someone will come up to you and say like, can you give me, you know, creamy cacti? And you're like, okay, you want creamy cacti, so like where do I start with that, you know? Like, but they sort of try to help, but they're not really, it's not really resonating sometimes. Okay, so anyway, that was that supplier that I had, but we kept communicating, because he kept wanting to give solutions, or you know, even if it's not what I was looking for, I kept like, okay, well, more like this or more like that. And then he started to like, or like send a lot of things, or you know, sometimes it just got very confusing, and then he like lost the plot, and I'm like, okay, back focus, you know. So eventually I made this like document of everything I chose, you know. I chose this element with that color, and I needed 2 products, like related products, and they needed some things, so and they needed some like sizes and everything like that. So I just made this document in Canva, like with the image, this is what I want, like this color, like this joints or something like that, these sizes, this model, you know. I made it for him because he was just, I don't know, not being able to pull it together. But I really wanted to work with them because they gave a very good price, and they were really willing to even work with me. And they were still friendly and patient also with me, you know. So how I work with them, it's more like I try to keep everything as simple as possible, as focused as possible, you know. So if people are like you know, he puts like 6 types of sizes or something like that, and then I just like take in Alibaba, I take that one, like that remark, and answer in that remark, you know, like really to have these things coming back, and that they know in their language, they get replied to them in their language, not that I use a different word than they know, because they use, you know, we had a problem with color as well, you know. They kept using a different color name. I'm like, no, that's not that color name. But some things you just like need to repeat, and then with them it helped. But with my other suppliers, I made a couple of things. I've just been telling a lot of stories. I hope you're still there, and I hope you find it interesting, because I find it very interesting, because I've been learning a lot from it, you know. Like I see it now sort of as my personal tool of refinement or challenge, to, you know, to stay kind, to stay patient, to find solutions, be a problem solver instead of a problem creator or someone that gives up, you know. I try to be yeah, I'm still recording. Okay. Yeah, I try to practice myself in being a positive person that can go achieve their goals. You know, because I have a goal, and they are on my way to the goal, you know. So it's best if I, you know, like they are just part of the goal. They're not the end goal, you know. Like they are assistance in my end goal or something like that. So that is awesome, right? Like there's nothing negative to have as attitude against them. They're like, no, they're like here with me, you know, and they have a goal similar to my goal, you know, make money or have free time, or, you know, like be of value to others, like whatever goal you have, right? But they're the ones that are going to help you with it, because you're not going to make all those products yourself, right? So yeah, like the problems that I noticed in my own character, and I think a lot of Westerners are dealing with, just mere by coming from the West, you know, and growing up with a Western perspective, being white, you know, being like it comes with a certain entitlement, like this certain feeling that like I am best, right? Like, which is not true, because we're all the same, but still you think you're a little better, right? Like, and being white, like everyone's like always wanted to be white, and people want to be white, like it's like you feel like you're a little bit on top of the mountain, right? But in that doesn't really work if you're working together with people, right? So I had that, like this yeah, like I still have it, you know. It's the thing is, you only grow so much awareness by the day, you know. It's like a process, right? Of like embarrassment also, like a little bit, right? So because you, it's kind of that you then look down on them, like, oh, that's my supplier, they need to work for me, or not like not from like a friendly constructive on the same level vibe, you know, like, okay, we are in this together, we're solving a problem. More like, oh, you need to do that because I give you money, or I am the customer, I you need to create what I want. Because with that, you get that the other party is not going to fully express themselves, you know. They're not going to say like, oh, there's a problem with this, or that needs to be changed, or we cannot do it. They get more than a little bit like, oh yes, yes, we can do it, yes, yes, we can do it, when in reality they didn't, it wasn't a conversation in which you found like the best way for both, you know. And that's kind of what you need to be looking at. All right. Yeah. Also, lack of patience. You know, like that's what I deal with in myself. You know, like try to be patient. It's really helping me learning to be patient, and learning also to see the best in other people. You know, assuming they want the best, assuming they want the best solutions, and that we just need to have the patience to find that road with them. You know. Also kindness, you know, like staying kind when I'm like, oh, you're like stupid. I'm always thinking, no, it's probably me that's stupid. What is their point? You know, it's like probably, yeah, it's like assuming that others are stupid is probably you missing something, you know. All right, so the focus, yeah, you can focus on what is important for these people as well. And if you, what I see a little bit more in the Asian culture compared, like Asian culture, that's even that, what is Asian culture? Of course, Asia is so big, you know, so many countries. But what I imagine a little bit what Chinese people is they are like from where they came from, you know, communism, and how they get educated in schools with like a lot of group games, a lot of team things and everything. They are used to working together, you know. That's like a good value for them. Also, Chinese are afraid to lose face, you know. They are um, they don't want to be the one that did it wrong, you know. Like that's like, oh, you don't want to be doing it wrong. Like, no, then you're in trouble, you have to do everything perfect, you know, this perfectionism, which is like yeah, like everyone has it. Western people also have that, but I think in Asian cultures it's more value to be like more a little bit more silent, a little bit more like listening, you know. In Western cultures we're more outspoken, we're like, oh, this is not good, or that, like a little bit more like that. And that's not always nurtured, that quality is not always nurtured. So you kind of have to give them the confidence that it's okay to speak out, you know, with your supplier. I think that's super important. And actually I have an example of that, because I was doing this chat this morning, I think it was this morning or something, with Lydia. And oh no, this one is actually not this morning, it's like a little while ago, but I thought it was a good example. So I made this thing that they had to print, and I did I put something like 3 version or 4 version or something like that. And Oh yeah, but so I put four versions exactly, and then she, every time, "Oh, no, no, it should be this, should be this," and I was like, "Okay, save version four and delete the others." Oh, thank you, good idea. She's like, "You're so efficient," because I did do it within like 12 hours. Like she slept and she woke up and she had all these things, right? So she's like, "Oh my God, like that's great." So she's giving me a compliment. I'm like, "Oh, you're so kind." I like things to be simple moving forward. I'm like stating my expectations, how I would want to work with them. What I think is pleasant, and she probably thinks like, yeah, I like simple too. Because she just said that. And I'm like, thank you for noticing the mistake. It's good cooperation. And she's like laughing, because I'm recognizing like, hey, I appreciate you went like a little further. You took a little bit away from my plate. You saved my ass. And giving her a compliment about that. She's like, and also, and I think the day after she found another mistake in one of my printing things. So she also told me. So it's really nice that she feels that I take her serious, that I just appreciate, that I don't look down on her, that she's just such a, yeah, like I value her criticalness, like let's take its characteristics that I think are really good for someone in that job, right? So yeah, so like it makes like an easy vibe, and that makes also that when there's a problem, it's not, she doesn't feel attacked straight away. That's as well. For example, there's one of the products we have, and I really had it, and it's like a little mistake in it. Like it should actually be checked by the yeah, by like a technical team or something like that, to make something work a little bit better. Like it's not, you shouldn't decline a product because of it, but it's a mistake in the product. And so I told her like, you have to look at that and that product with this and this problem, because it's there's a problem in there. And then she's like, oh no, it's like it should be okay. I'm like, no, no, it's okay, like for next order, and it's not a big problem. It will probably be easy to solve, but have a look with the technical team. And she's like, oh yes, I really appreciate that. So she got like a little defensive, but it's like, no, relax, relax. I'm not gonna claim all money back now for this, or you're not in trouble. Like they really quickly think they're in trouble. So then they stiffen up and they don't dare to correct mistakes anymore. And then it escalates from there. Like everything escalates. I have one case at the moment. I'll put you away, Lydia. I have one case at the moment with another supplier that has a product. Actually, I got a whole load, 200 items that are actually dangerous. They're falling apart and they're dangerous. And I already sent 70 out to customers, and customers are sending me messages with like, hey, we have like a problem. And I'm like, in the beginning, like, huh? But when I figured out, so I was sending them photo updates all the time. I'm like, there's a problem, there's something wrong. And they're like, oh no, we do this product so long, there's nothing wrong. And I'm like, well, I have this. And then they're like, oh yeah, we have to look at the technical team. But then I was like, well, like I was kind of pushing, because I'm like, take this serious, because things are happening, it's not good. So I was pushing her. She wasn't like, couldn't really deal with that. She wasn't really got it in her mind yet that they really have to do something. And then I wrote something like, it's dangerous for me, it's dangerous for my customer, like this is, I'm afraid for liability cases, this is not what I want. And then she's like, oh, it's not our product. I'm like, it's not your product. And then like, yeah, you're a liar, you're doing a fraud. And well, actually, like after that started, I escalated the issue with Alibaba. And Alibaba still needs to react, and they need to negotiate with us. And it has to take 5 days, but they haven't done anything. Now it's 5 days, so I need to, yeah, like, I don't know, escalate that case within Alibaba, I guess, as well, or something. But that supplier, like, eventually she's like, oh, you're a liar. That's not our product. I know where you bought that product. That's not our product. And you're doing fraud and all these things. So in the meantime, I had to recall all the products here and communicate with the 70 customers that had the product and what they could do with it and what we're going to do and da, da, da. And they're like acting like not home, So yeah, that can also happen. You don't want it to go in that direction, like that just went too far, but I'm not perfect. What I'm saying is I'm not perfect. I'm learning every day. But yeah, what I also want to say with that supplier, actually, I knew it in the beginning. I knew it like in the communication that we had. She in the beginning she didn't want to reply, and eventually I said, like, because they had a product I really wanted to have, So and eventually I said, like, well, like, do you want to do business or not? Like, what is this? And then she's like, oh, okay. So then she started to communicate this and that, and I ordered products, and but every time it was just a little like not taking responsibility, like I was getting these orders in, and there were two factory mistakes in there of just 30. And I'm like, there's two factory mistakes. And she's like, oh, maybe it's in shipment. I'm like, no, it was like in the spray paint. And then she didn't really want to take it back, but eventually I'm like, well, it's important for me to know that I can trust a supplier and that we build a long-term relationship, and that, so for me, I really like, it's almost like you test the person, what are their reactions, how are they problem solving, how can we find like the best path for this problem when it becomes a lot bigger, like this problem is small now, it's just two, but what are we going to do if it's like 200, and then like they already need to think about that too. How are they going to solve it? Maybe they pack the box different, maybe they need insurance, maybe they need to improve like this and this and this, so in that like small order you can still solve problems before they get bigger, right? So that's why like a lot of suppliers, they say, oh, minimum order 1,000 or minimum 500. Like for me, I would not even order that, because what if there's like a little mistake in it, wow. Or what if you, just so many things, what if it doesn't sell, what if your customers don't like it, what if you have 500, then you also want to make a box, because you want to make your own box. You don't want to like have this like little brown box and this like this test load and do it. You need to have like, you want to have it properly done. If you want to have it properly done the first time, you can never get everything properly done, but if the second time will be better, and the third time it will be better, and the fourth time maybe it will probably be done, but you need to build up to that a little bit, and you want that risk of cost mistake, you want it to be as small as possible for both parties, so you don't stress out when something big happens and they don't dare to react because so much is at stake, so for me, I choose suppliers that my initial order usually is like 50, if it's not like insanely big amount, or maybe like lower. It depends a little bit where I am comfortable with money, like the level I'm comfortable now. It's like if the product is like, so I ordered like a product yesterday, if it's like 10 euro. No, it's like, it was less. It was like 6 euro. Yeah, so 6 euro. So I ordered 50, and I was like, oh my God, so it's like, that's not a lot of money. And then you get shipping. You get that one got express shipping, so that's almost the same price as the product, and it was all under 500 or something. So I don't see that as a big risk. That's not a big risk for me. But if you only have 200 euros, then your risk is a little different, right? But if you are a person that's placing orders of like 5,000 all the time, or 10,000 or 20,000, like then you won't start with 50. Then it doesn't make sense for you to test with 50 maybe, so it is wherever the level of your comfort is, and the bigger you grow, the bigger your comfort with stress will come, and this trust, and you covered everything, and that is good, so but allow yourself that time to grow, and don't let yourself get these contracts with these factories when it's that big. It's more pleasant to just grow it. You can do everything you want, but it's just like I'm saying, more pleasant to grow it, because you grow the relationship. Yeah, like I don't know if I said this before, but with other people, oh, sorry, assume that they want to help you. Like assume that they want to find solutions with you, because the best thing for everyone is the best, most practical long-term relationship. Every time the process gets refined, every time it's going to go a little easier to order like a bigger order. It will maybe go a little faster. All the, you don't have to design anything for it anymore. You have your whole, like, the shipment, you don't have to arrange anymore because you've done it before. You know how many days it's going to be. Like, it's the best. What your goal is, your goal is to build a system, and a system that you don't need to, that you can be part of less and less and less, so that other people can take it over. So other people take over logistics. Okay, so other people take over the customer service. Okay, so other people take over the fulfillment here. Okay, like every time you give a step away, when you figured it out, when it's standard. So it's okay, the email for the customer service comes into this email box. This is the 5 questions that people ask. If some, like, I've typed them 100 times now, I think it's been enough. Like, now someone else can, take it over easily from me and get the right tone. You can write a sample answer or something like that. So that's how every time you get rid of a task. But anyway, so with the suppliers, that's the same thing. Like, they also want their boxes to arrive properly. So I found something like with box corner protectors or something, and they're like, oh wow, yeah, we like that. I'm like, for next order, like, yeah, we can improve, we can constantly improve. And like, that was Lydia also, and then she sees it like a pride. She's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, the last order you did so great. Look at this compared to the first order. And I sent her the photos of the boxes we did today and the boxes I got in the beginning. And she's like, the process of continuous improvement. And then she she has that. So that was like so nice. And but I compliment her on that. Like, thank you for the team, for the order. And now I'm thinking, like, it's almost Christmas and everything. Like, oh, can I send them something? How I'm gonna organize that? So that's one of the things I'm gonna do. So, because they're doing a great job. They're doing a great job. Like, I needed some extra products that I wanted to test, like in a box, and she's like, oh, it's gonna take 3 days. But then she's like, oh, I'll just take some from another customer so you can have it in your shipments tomorrow. So they will start helping you and finding solutions for you, or giving you new tips for new products that they have, because they also enjoy working with you. They also think like, oh yeah, that's gonna cost us little work and we can include it in the other orders, and so they're also good. Yeah. So if they're like, this is a little bit back to the other thing, but sometimes when they're ashamed of things, or when something isn't done right, they're like a little ashamed. And I have a different example of that. So this is Lee, and Lee and me started working together actually today. He worked for me before, but Lydia was communicating. He's the forwarder, and then now it's a second load that I think he is forwarding, and it's really big. And he just started working with the company of Lydia as well. And he apparently, but I didn't know, but like, he wrote my name wrong, like every time. One time it was Sanna, one time it was Shanna, one time it was Anna or something like that. So every time my name, yeah, and I felt like a little like, what is this? I'm like, Lee, like, focus, like, my name is on top of the screen, please. Please, why are you writing my name different? And then he's like, oh, sorry, Alibaba Translate is translating it different all the time. I type in Chinese and I translate it for you. I'm like, oh my God, is that it? I'm like, oh, okay, sorry, it's okay, don't worry, it's okay, now I understand, but maybe better not to use my name, it's okay. And then he's like ashamed, he's like, oh, and then so now he wrote it like, can you send your name when I send it in Chinese? It's like that, I don't know if he wants to get me to write Chinese, but then again, maybe it's just a sign from God that I'm supposed to learn how to write my name, so it's like, okay, I'll just give God basically the benefit of the doubt that this is what is best for me at the moment. So apparently that's how my name is. So maybe I even have to start writing it. It would be good. I go to China, so you know, to write your name. I think it's a good thing. So thank you, Lee. So look at everything with positive, and look at everything like it is a gift given to you to develop a little bit further that day, you know. That's all. That's how I see the communication with them, and it's like a continuous challenge for me to improve in communication and to become more grateful for every like weird thing that comes on my path, basically, to figure it out. So okay, so he sent my name in Chinese. I was like, oh, we try. I don't speak Chinese, but now I also know it's because I translate, not because you forget my name all the time. So thank you for your understanding. And then he's like all happy and comfortable and talking about his sister, wanting to build like relationship and everything. And he worked really hard today on the order, and he really did his best. So I'm like, thank you, you know, great job. And yeah, he's like, oh, this is the first time I deal with an outside customer. So he's also like, you know, and he's also like a little shy, and he's also like a little like, oh, I want to do it good, you know, and with the translate, and then you write my name 3 times wrong. So he feels like uncomfortable, you know. So yeah, I can imagine I would feel like that too, but it's okay, you know. So like, make that possible to open that communication, you know. And also, you know, like be open, because I said it like a little too annoyed, you know. I think I'm like, come on, you know. But like actually assume it's your mistake first. That's good. Or assume it's my mistake first, right? All right. Yeah. So he might be ashamed, right? So to focus on humor, make jokes, and like come to it with a tone of like humor, kindness, understanding. You know, don't come to it with a tone of like annoyance and irritation or something like that. Like really, like make a joke, be happy, find a solution, be kind, be understanding. You know, and then move from there on. That helps. It helps, but it's not easy to mentally do that, you know. It's like, oh no, don't have that reaction, have that reaction of kindness and understanding and curiosity. Be curious, why is this happening? You know, so next time hopefully it can go better. Yeah, and then you to think together on how to improve for the next time, and well, this is it, you know. So he's thought like, oh, like I show her name, and now I'm improved next time, so she knows that's her name. So we don't have that anymore. But it's very cute. All right. Yeah, like also with they have certain like what I notice much more in China, for example, or Asian, like most Asian countries, is they appreciate compliments a lot more. Like in the West, we kind of don't accept compliments, like, oh my God, you did a great job, or you're so smart, or especially at least where I'm from in the Netherlands, it's not common, you know, it's a little unheard of. And yeah, and I don't know how often people compliment each other in China, but I do notice that Chinese people react really good to compliments, like when they're sincere, you know. And I think a lot of people do, but I notice with the Chinese people, they have like a little bit different values or something I noticed they like to be complimented on, because the thing is, they give me these strange compliments. They're like, "Oh, you're so accurate." Or so efficient. No Western person has ever complimented. Well, maybe some, but not like no one's much complimented me. We're like, oh my God, you're so efficient. You know, I'm like, and then when I talk to her next time, I'm like, oh Lydia, you're so efficient. Or you did such a great job. Or you've been so smart. You know, like it's or here I've got another one. Yeah. Thank you for your patience, you know. Thank you for your kindness, and thank you for the wonderful cooperation. You know, like I wouldn't say that in Europe. That not quickly, and with them, I would really quickly say like, oh, I really enjoy working with you. You're so smart and or like attentive, or you react so fast, or you found such a great solution, or you know, like appreciating the process, appreciating the order, appreciating their input, like all those things. I love it. Yeah, you're such a pleasure to work with. And I truly mean it. You know, like I find it very pleasurable to work with. Like even the lady that I'm in the case with now, I also like when she did something right. It's like, oh, that's such a good idea, or thank you so much for the speed and the efficiency, and So it's just nice to hear, when you're working on a project, and the person is just disappearing, and they give you the money, and it's like, well, it's not like a full exchange. It's not like you throw money at them and then they are supposed to do things for you. It's more like you pay them because they help you, so you appreciate that. Like that's more it. It's a different feeling, and they notice that. They notice that in the tone, they notice that in the patience, and they enjoy that as well, so they really give compliments back. Like, I cannot imagine talking like that with a Dutch supplier, like, not at all, not at all. But here I have, here, thank you for your understanding. Okay, that's not like a big thing, but here I have, oh, well, yeah, this is a little different. This conversation went on into like really compliment, but like, here I will. This is after I declined a proposal for like a big transport for of like 1700 kg to the Netherlands, and I asked for a quote with two parties. One is the friend of the factory, and one is another one I found somewhere, just because I wanted to ask someone else for a quote as well. And I decided not to go with this gentleman, because the other one with the factory, I think it would be faster. It's actually, he's in a different part of the country. So I thought it wasn't just not just price. Price actually of this guy was a little lower, but the speed of being able to handle, and like some other cost in between that the other guy was calculating, from X work to FOB, like, I had to pay that, but with the other guy apparently in the factory, that wasn't the case, so I like that, like, that's cheaper. So it came, yeah, I don't know, anyway. So this guy, I told him, no, let's focus, because he's doing another shipment for me too. I'm like, okay, let's focus on this other shipment, and make that do good together, before we do other shipments. I kind of put it like a little bit like that. And also because he got a shipment from me. It's an urgent shipment, and it's already 3 day delayed, and it's not even out of China, so I'm also like signing him a little bit like, hey, you have to prove yourself on this one, right? But so I'm not giving you this one yet, but don't think you have, like, we're not like proven yet, we're still building or something like that. And anyway, so I explained him that. I'm like, okay, the other one is in that part of the country, and I don't worry, nothing is lost. We are still, like, I also deal with factories in your part of the country, and I think that would probably be better. And then he's like, oh yes, I do this in this area. I'm like, yes. He's like, yes, that is best for me to work there. And then I said, like, yeah, that's best. Yes, I agree. And then he's like, because I calmed him. He's like, I will do better, believe me. So he knows, he knew there was like some little things there, but he came with that. I didn't tell him that he needed to admit that. I just told him, like, don't worry, we're good. I'm just finding better solutions. He's like, okay, yeah, but if I would have stepped up a little, I would have gotten it, So he does know, but it's okay, I'm like, we can build relation. It's so good. Nothing is lost. I think the other path is more efficient for that factory. Very good. I hope I can serve you forever. Your reasonable arrangement is correct and wise. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, like, what I experienced till now is they do appreciate, like, just forwardness or plainness, or communicating, like, when you communicate with them in just a good, respectful, normal manner. It's like normal people, it's not like the Chinese people that want to steal your money and want to give you shit or something. It's not like that anymore. Maybe it used to be like that more, but China is developing so fast. We in the West, we think we're so much further developed, but the thing is, you haven't been in China then. I went there like 2 times. I think one time like 14 years ago. It was already so far advanced, and everything was going so fast. I was in shock. And now we're even further, so I can only imagine what I'm going to see now, and they have so many opportunities there, people being very highly educated, like a lot of things are, because they because the different way they're structured and the different way they think, they're very obedient, and they go for something, you know, like they're yeah, yeah, they keep trying, like farmers, you know, they keep improving the land. That's kind of what they're doing. I hope this is still working. Yeah, I think it's still working. 39 minutes already. Oh my god. So yeah, I'll cut this short. I hope this was of value for you. Let's see if I missed anything. Yeah, I understand that not all of them have dealt with Westerners a lot, or their English is great, or you know, some call me dear in like weird ways. You're like, why is calling me dear? But it's, you know, it's, they all do it, so I don't know, you know, like I get used to that, and I see how they use it in different tones, you know, from like, sometimes it's a little condescending, but it's not as condescending as I think it is, but sometimes it is, you know. But it's okay. Like, yes, there we go. Yeah, also sometimes, you know, like why you should always, why I try to always keep the benefit of the doubt with them. It's because I need to assume that I'm the one that fucked up, you know, that I'm the one that's not communicating clearly. Or what if I blame them and then it turns out that I did it? No, I don't like that. So I just, but I probably, you know, they probably also don't like that. So if you both don't like that, you just keep trying to get to a problem, to solve the problem, right? So and because sometimes you're just not in the right mood, or sometimes you're just a bit stressed, or sometimes you have too much pressure and you cannot like fully think clearly anymore, although you think you can, but maybe the sentence that came out like a little lousy, or a little inconsiderate, or a little like yeah, like you haven't thought it through totally, you know. So that can happen, and sometimes you just, it's just over for that day, you know, you just, it's just empty. So then, you know, or you cannot, and or you just don't have a better solution. Sometimes it's just better to go, you know, have a cup of coffee, or go for a walk, or take a rest, or play with your dog, or sleep at night and let it settle before you can handle like that problem again or something, you know. So yeah, like and then you'll like a better solution appears, or something like that, or they have calmed down, you know. Sometimes it's just better to just not step away from the messenger, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah, because like the things, you can also be maybe a little bit worried about money, or you can be a little bit worried about like what quality they're going to deliver. And so from that worry from you, it can also reflect in your communication with them, right? And then they feel it also, this your resistance to maybe give the money, or this resistance to order, or you know, because you have to work with your own resistance to order as well, right? So, and that might repel them a little bit, you know, like they're like, oh yeah, this person's not serious, you know, okay, you know, waste of time. And then they're not talking to you seriously, or trying to find solutions. They're like, oh yeah, this person asking too many questions. It's, you know, not to the point. It's just, you know, asking like questions like, oh, like unreasonable demands or something, you know, like a lot of colors, or maybe like a crazy low minimum order quantity, or yeah, just useless questions. Because I'm sure they receive so many questions of people that are just wasting their time a little bit, that want to like start drop shipping, or start selling on Amazon, or on bol.com, or anything like that. And or they invented this thing and they want to see if someone can produce it. I'm sure they get a lot of that, you know. So they also need to wait through that, and they can also spend their time once, right? So just, you know, make their time, be efficient with their time, communicate efficient with their time. Very often I make like a questions, you know, like, okay, hey, hey Lydia, or something, or L, or whoever it is, I'm interested in this and this product. Is it CE certified? So what is the minimum order quantity? Do you have on stock, or how fast can you deliver? Is it English packaging? You know, like I will just put them 1, 2, 3, 4 or something, all the questions I can come up with, and then they can answer. Not always they will answer all of them, but at least you have like some things going. You know, it makes it easy for them to answer. Don't make it like woolly questions or something like that, or like too much chitter chatter or something like that. Chitter chatter will come when you figured out, okay, yeah, we can actually chitter chatter. You know, it's like, hey, we did the order, or thank you so much for your help, or that will come. But first, just, you know, be efficient with their time, and show that you're serious, and be efficient with your time, you know. All right, yeah, give them benefit of the doubt. So yeah, so when you build trust up together, this is also what you're going to get from it, right? So that's also what I wanted to say. What you're going to get from it is that they're going to put more effort in you, that you're going to your orders are gonna more smooth. You have more pleasure in working. You can trust your supplies more. If they say 20 days, they know it's 20 days. When it's the product you want, you're gonna have the product you want. You know, because you've built that over the time, and yeah, so you're not gonna have big surprises, and that's what we like. No big surprises. We just like smooth as possible, because there's enough stuff to worry about, such as all the other chapters. Have a nice day. Good luck.